I'm Lester Holt. What up, Holt heads? Kurt Money here, alongside my co-host,
Kateline.
We are here to discuss a classic Forensic Files, if I may. The one could argue that all FFs are classics. There are 400 total. I'd say about 300 of them are straight up 10 out of 10s. And this is one of them. So I'm just curious, Kate, what you think about this app? Overall thoughts?
I was skeptical going in.
Okay.
But this delivered.
You're damn right.
I actually had a moment during this episode where I gasped and said, whoa. Uh-huh.
Okay. Now we're talking. Today we are discussing the Season 2 episode of FF called Bitter Potion. When a woman exhibits strange flu-like symptoms before dying, investigators discover someone added to her. Detectives initially suspect her husband, but the case takes a sinister turn. Okay, you didn't read that before. Did you read that before you watched this episode? Because I'm pissed as hell at this description, Kate. Right off the bat.
It gives a lot of it away, but I too was suspicious of the husband. I thought it was him from the jump, and I love that it wasn't.
Kate, that is reason number one that I wanted to do this episode, because I thought, there's a few other things that we'll talk about that you'll be like, oh yeah, obviously he picked this, because there's some cool stuff in here that we have talked about recently. But I thought this might get Kate. If anything's going to get Kate on the misdirect of who did it, it would be this 21-minute episode of Forensic Files. Mm-hmm. And you do think it's the husband for a long time.
Definitely.
Right?
Yeah. A really long time.
Yeah. And it's not until literally minute 11 of 21 where they start talking about the person who really did it.
Well,
that's crazy.
The husband was shady.
Yeah. Shady. Okay, yeah, let's dive into this. Our story takes place in October of 1988. Peggy and Carr had just married 6 months ago, and they've got a Brady Bunch situation going on where they came in with their own kids. They got a full house. There's 5 kids total, and one of the kids has her own kid, and they live in the back house. That was not in the FF. That's a little bonus, because I done read that book.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
So there's a lot going on here. Now, they just got married 6 months ago. Oh, wait, first, the show opens up with a cool cold open where Peggy's in the hospital, and they don't know how or why she's so sick. Right? They kind of give you a little taste at first.
It was a symptom of a very rare condition, one the doctor had never seen before.
Then they do the Dateline move. They go back to give you a little bit of the background. So Peggy and Pi had been married for 6 months, and already that dude's cheating on her. Mm-hmm. Do you remember how this got busted? So he had long nights at work, right? And Peggy's like, I'm suspicious. I'm going to do my own digging. What went down?
And he worked at, was it a quarry?
Yeah.
Pi worked at a phosphate mine.
It was at a quarry. So she's thinking, okay, I don't know what that means, working late at the quarry. But
yeah, good question.
I'm going to swing by there and just see what's up. And she drives to the quarry, and in the parking lot, she sees her husband's car and only one other car. And wouldn't you know, it's the car that belongs to his ex-girlfriend. And the quarry is closed. Nobody's there. She's like, all right, he's cheating.
When I guess she found out that he was cheating, things started, going downhill.
Yeah, and I guess he fessed up to it. And they actually split for a little bit, and we see the letter that she wrote to Pi where she's like, I want to love you, but you won't let me love you. I want to stay, but do you want me to stay? All this stuff. So it's obviously they're on the rocks.
In beautiful cursive writing.
Looks so good. So now, here they are in October of 1988, and Peggy is super sick. So sick that her kids take her to the hospital. Now, what's funny is old Pi, the husband, is gone this weekend. He's on a hunting trip.
Mm-hmm. On the day she returned, Pi left for a previously scheduled hunting trip.
So again, he's looking good for it. He's stepping into all the traps.
Yep.
This is going to be a classic whodunit, the husband done it. Duh.
Yeah, we think he poisoned her and then left town to make it seem like it couldn't have been me. I was out of town.
Yep. And so she's at the hospital, and the doctors have no idea what's wrong with her. Like, she is sick as hell, pain everywhere, needles and stuff in the fingers and toes.
But they actually let her go that night.
When lab tests were negative and they couldn't diagnose her problem, Peggy was released.
This was similar to the Prussian Blue episode of Dateline that we covered, with the same kind of poisoning, where the doctors initially send them home.
Kate, okay, I'm going to confirm this later, but I'm almost positive in the reading of this book, some motherfucker, and you know it was a guy, said it might be your period.
Of course.
Just like with Brigitte.
Brigitte couldn't see. And he's saying it might be your period.
There was one doctor that actually told her, oh, you just have really bad menstrual cramps.
So the doctors don't know what it is. They send her home. But the very next day, her kids are like, no. Mom is like unresponsive.
It's worse.
She can't talk, she can't see, she can't do anything.
Yep.
I told Pa, I said, we need to take her to the hospital again because she's not getting any better. Well, he went to work.
They take her back to the hospital. This time, we get a doctor who knows what he's doing.
Right.
He goes in to examine her, and he has to move her head a little bit so he can get a reading on, I guess it was on her heart or her back, her lungs. And when he lifts her head, all this hair falls off on the pillow. And this G is like, oh, that's only one thing. Thallium. Boom.
Boom.
A bigger boom than our San Diego doctor who figured this out for Brigitte, because it took him, he was pretty sure, but he had to do all the tests to rule it out. But this guy's like, no, it's thallium.
Yeah. Okay. I feel like I want to give LaPointe more credit in San Diego.
As a medical toxicologist, I'm a little bit more in the detective role.
Because I feel like the hair falling is such a sign of this. But you're right. In here, it looked like this doctor was way more confident about it. But this is like the most important telltale symptom of thallium poisoning is the hair falling out.
It's wild, though, that this was like kind of at a rural hospital in the middle of Florida. And Dr. LaPointe is in San Diego at a very busy, known hospital. And yet this guy's like, oh, yeah, that's thallium.
Good point.
It was thallium poisoning.
Now, that's just how they framed it. We don't know.
Right. I mean, also, it's in 88. Now, I'm going to be discussing that year because, what does Peter Thomas, the renowned narrator of Forensic Files, what does he inform us of when they reveal that it's thallium poisoning? What does he say?
He says there's no known cure.
There is no known cure or antidote.
But we know that Prussian blue is the cure.
Yeah.
So the antidote is called Prussian blue.
Exactly. Now, there are other thallium episodes of FF, and they say the same damn thing. But I still, when we did the Prussian blue on I'm Lester Holt, and when I was doing the research for this one, I still can find no info of when we discovered it was Prussian blue. I can't find a date. And I'm going to kick that to the end because there's a conspiracy there, and I've got other thallium poisonings to discuss. So we'll say,
great.
We're going to save that. But that is like my biggest question hanging over this. Why didn't they know about Prussian blue? Was it around then? And when did we discover it?
And could it have saved her? Or was she given such a lethal dose that it was beyond saving? Because we know from Brigitte's case that she was poisoned a little bit over time.
Yeah.
But it sounds like this was more of a big dose all at once. Because it was only one incident.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Now, they said in the forensic files, I think they said she was only given 1 gram.
Peggy had 50 times the maximum human exposure in her system.
And Brigitte was given 1 gram all the time. And it wasn't until she was given 5 grams that it put her in the hospital.
Yeah, good point. And actually, when people have survived thallium poisoning, they often have like brain damage or like they're paralyzed in some way.
Well, that's what I asked you on the last one.
Exactly. And when I was looking at other thallium poisonings, there was one in the mid-90s where it was discovered in time and they started giving him Prussian blue, but it was a little too late. And like the guy has motor function issues and stuff. So like this is definitely scary.
Yeah.
And I was reading about how it's the poisoner's poison. That's an okay nickname. Here's a better one. People call thallium the inheritance powder. That's kind of good. Right?
Sure.
Kill your aunt, get that money or something.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
So first, they think maybe it's the orange grove nearby. Pesticides being shot about willy-nilly. Or it could be the water in the well. They test both those. Nothing doing. Those are all good to go.
Health officials gathered air and dust samples from inside the Carr's home and took more than 400 household items for laboratory analysis. They found the source of the thallium in some empty soda bottles.
So now that they know it's thallium poisoning, and a little background on this, it's in rat poison. Rat poison was illegal in the States since 72. This is like 15, 16 years later. So it's not like thallium's easy to get. You still have to have special ways to get it. So they know without a doubt that she's being poisoned. And the detectives are thinking what we're thinking too. We're thinking it's Carr, this piece of husband. He's got to be the guy.
But they test the whole family. And everybody except for one of their kids tests positive for thallium, including Pi.
Yeah. That's true.
So they're like, okay, I guess it's not him. And even at this point, I'm still thinking, I don't know, maybe he gave himself a little just so he wouldn't seem suspicious.
Right. Now, a little inside scoop. In the book, they were talking about how Pye was he was the main suspect, even so much that Sissy, the daughter that was interviewed on the FF,
Well, he went to work.
she didn't believe it when people told her who was arrested. Like, she thought it was her dad for a full year, okay?
Wow.
We thought, Pi had something to do with it because the way he was acting so strange. He was always so secretive. It's like he always had something to hide.
But yeah, so everybody in the family but this one daughter is not poisoned. Were you suspicious of this daughter? She was not interviewed?
For like a hot second, I was suspicious.
Yeah.
But then I realized that she was too young to be an expert chemist that you would need to be in order to pull this off.
Yeah. The detectives had a big issue with that with Pye, where they're like, he doesn't have he can't. There's no way.
He a dum-dum.
Yeah, he doesn't have the mental capacity for this. He kind of doesn't think more than beyond the first step.
They were breaking it down, how skilled you would have to be to use this kind of poison. And once they figured out how everybody ingested it, it was a little easier to figure out the rest.
Yes. Wait, can I say this part, Kate? Can I say this part? Mm-hmm. Sweet. So they're going, okay, it's not Pye. Who is it? Who hates Peggy Carr? Now, the whole family, they've got nothing. They're like, nobody. Everybody loves my mom. Like, the worst things we've had is like a few arguments with the neighbors because our music was too loud. So this is what the detectives are racking their brains. Where's the motive? Who would want to do this? We also got to say, 2 of the sons are also in the hospital with thallium poisoning. It's not just the mom that got super sick. Now, the 2 sons recover and are just fine today. Mm-hmm. But initially, there are 3 Carrs in the hospital at this point.
Yeah. And during this investigation, she dies.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, like 4 months after she went into the hospital.
On March 3rd, 1989, Peggy Carr died. It was now a murder investigation.
So they're talking to the family and they're like, okay, what would they have ingested? Everybody ingested.
And at the same time. Because they were all experiencing those symptoms at the same time.
And we learn about a lunch that they all had together where most everybody drank Coke in a bottle.
Except for the one daughter who did not test positive for thallium. And that's because she is a snob and drank Diet Coke.
She was on a diet, okay? And she was not going to drink full-flavored Coke. So that's why she's safe. And Pye, who they tested and he had a little, he was safe because he's an alcoholic. He had Jack and Coke at dinner.
Right.
And so that saved him.
The alcohol.
When they show the actors doing it, it's like 5 fingers of whiskey and just a splash of Coke. I mean, whatevs. But I still love that little detail. I was like, oh, Pye's ready to party. Okay, so they're going, okay, holy shit, it had to be in this Coke. And we discover where this Coke came from. Now, this is the biggest question mark I have about this episode, and they didn't spend any time on it. But it just appeared on their back doorstep. I'm shocked anyone would see a pack of Cokes in a bottle out on their doorstep and they'd bring it in and drink it. Like, would you ever do that? Would you accept this?
Well, we have to think about how chaotic the home was. 5 kids.
Yeah.
Maybe she thought somebody brought those Cokes to the house, or one of the kids went out and got them, and no one's asking questions. Things are moving a mile a minute. I feel like that kind of thing can happen. Now, if it were just me and my husband here at the house and some Cokes appeared on the back step, no. Now, there are a few people I would think probably dropped them off, but yeah, I wouldn't be drinking. I wouldn't be popping them open until I knew.
I mean, even if they lived in a cold climate, you could say to me, they chill them out there, boom. I mean, I've done that in my partying days, the beer's outside, but they're in Florida in October, so it's at least in the 80s.
They are not in a cold climate. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That soda's cooking.
Oh, yeah. So anyway, so Peggy Carr found this 8-pack of Coke on the back porch and brought it in. 8-pack is kind of wild, huh?
8-pack.
FF in their B-roll. B-roll, you busted. They had a 6-pack. It was an 8-pack. B-roll, you busted. Busted. What do you think about that?
And this was the old school, these were the old school glass bottles. And this was the part that was very cool.
Yeah.
They find these bottles, the family still has them, and
there's 3 full ones left.
3 full ones.
With the lid still on it.
And they test these babies. And not only is there thallium in those bottles, but they see evidence that the tops had been taken off so that the thallium could be put in and then put back on. And it's it's a bottle cap. So that's hard to do.
Yeah, so their first thought is, we got to get Coca-Cola on the horn, because what if this happened at the factory? There could be more thallium-laced bottles out there. They get a hold of Coke, and their, rep person was friggin' on it. Flew down there right away, and Coca-Cola actually put a lot of hours and money into helping the FBI determine how the thallium got in there. Because they were very much eager to prove it was not them. This is where it comes in where they're going, okay, we're dealing with a real smarty pants, because this is pretty impressive. Because they said to the naked eye, you could not tell that these bottle caps had been tampered with. Mm-hmm. It was only under microscope that they saw that little tools had been used to open it. Now, I buy that, and I'm already impressed. And the book is going on about, why didn't he do 2 liters? That'd be way easier. It's probably because he's cocky. Mm-hmm. But when he pried that lid off, what happened? I mean, the carbonation's gone instantly. Do you think there's a window of time where he can replace it and there's still going to be carbonation in there?
Is it possible that he was able to pump a little bit of CO2 in, like a soda stream?
Would that work?
Well, he's a scientist.
Maybe. Okay, interesting. I never thought of that.
I mean, a soda stream didn't exist, but I'm sure he had some kind of mechanism to do that.
They said something about how it had lesser carbonation than usual, but it still had carbonation, so I want to know how that's possible. Because that'd be another telltale sign. I mean, if you opened a bottle of Coke and there was no fizz or or there was no carbonation happening, you'd be suspicious hell, right? I mean...
Mm-hmm. I would be. However, fun fact about Kateline.
It may...
I like flat soda.
Shut up! What are you talking about? You like flat soda, you big weirdo?
I do, because the bubbles upsets my acid reflux, and when it's flat, it's more syrupy and sugary.
I don't know what to do with that info. I'm appalled and also amazed. I forced a flat soda down, but it's because it's the only option. I got to take medicine, and there's a open can in my car or something. I've never drank flat soda by choice, and I didn't know it was possible.
My thing is, I pop one open, I have about half, and the next day, have that second half. Even better.
Weirdo. Wow. So does an expiration on a soda can, that does not make you sweat? You're bring it.
Oh, no, I don't want to drink expired soda. Just flat.
Expired soda you could taste, though, right? My grandma growing up had soda in there that was 4 years old or something. We would laugh about how old it was. And sometimes I'd test it, and it tasted flat. It tasted bad. It had turned.
No.
What do you think about that?
That's gross.
All right, so Kurt's grandma, gross. Kateline drinking flat soda the day after, not gross. What kind of world do we live in?
A delicacy. A classy move.
Boy, looking into this, there's a lot of cool stuff going on with Coca-Cola and the history of it. I mean, it's not for this pod, but boy, was that a rabbit hole I almost got lost going down. Even just the creation of the shape of the bottles was cool. What they call it and how it used to be bulgier. I'm doing it. I'm slipping. Help me, Kateline. Pull me out of here. What's going on?
So they're looking at these bottles.
Yep.
They find evidence that suggests the tops had been taken off and put back on. And then this is the part that made me gasp.
Ooh.
They talk about the Coke and the thallium and how typically if you're going to add thallium to a carbonated beverage or maybe any liquid, it's going to separate and it's going to look hella obvious that is not Coke in there.
Yeah, because a lot of things will happen.
And these bottles... Yeah, it turns a different color. There's sediment at the bottom.
It overflows.
Like a volcano.
The first test they did, it looked like a Mentos and a Coke thing shooting out of the bottle.
But these Cokes...
but these ones, none of that.
They looked completely normal. So they're going, okay, this guy is like a master chemist. So whoever did this he has to be a scientist. Has to be. Because this is really hard to pull off. And then they say, and we're not even going to tell you how, because the FBI wants to keep that under wraps.
Okay.
They don't want it to be known how to make thallium look invisible in a beverage. And I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, that part's dope as hell.
And was a mixture which will not be revealed in this program.
Have you ever heard a crime show go, we'd like to tell you about this, but we can't because then you'd be able to use it, you sickos?
Never.
It's pretty wild.
And I'm guessing the FBI wouldn't even tell Forensic Files. It's not like Forensic Files is keeping it close. They don't even know.
So that's when you gasp, right?
Yes.
Okay, well now's going to be when you gasp in the podcast. Because guess what I know, Kateline?
How to do it.
How to do it.
Kurt,
what do you think about that?
Are you going to create
What's that?
a homegrown terrorist here?
I thought you were asking if I was into poisoning. I don't know. These words are going to mean nonsense to me, but it was in the friggin' book, okay? And I'm going to say it, and you're going to go, that doesn't help me at all, because here it is. Thallium-3 nitrate decomposes to thallium-1 nitrate when oxidized.
Okay.
Add that to the Coke, and there's no appearance of tampering. I mean, that was all gobbledygook to me. I don't know what to do with that info.
Okay, so thallium changes its composition when oxidized, when mixed with oxygen.
But what's this thallium-3, thallium-1 business? I don't get it.
I guess it's when you make thallium, and it's made from what?
I don't know.
When you distill it down to that powdery form,
Yeah.
that's thallium-3. And then you add oxygen.
Is that what oxidized means?
It's like a reaction to air.
Okay. I didn't get a gasp, and now I just feel dumb as hell. How you feeling, right? I mean, I don't know what you're talking about.
I might be wrong. I'm not a scientist. But I know that lots of stuff can oxidize, and it changes its form, its compound.
Right. What if, when they're writing the script for this FF, they're like, what? That doesn't make any sense. Let's just say we're not going to tell them. And those dum-dums are going to think it's like some secret clue.
Yeah, obviously it was in the book.
Wouldn't that be funny? Yeah. But anyway, another reason why we love FF, if we're counting the ways, number 1, it got Kateline. She's still thinking it's the husband. Number 2, they talk about stuff and they say, we're not going to tell you because then you'll want to do it yourselves. These are pretty good reasonings.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the theme song. It's a banger.
Oh, is it? It's such a banger. Okay, so they're looking into who would be mad at the Carrs enough to do this. And upon further pressing, what do we find out happened months before in the Carr household? What did these Carrs get in the mail?
They got a letter addressed to Pie, but the name is spelled wrong.
Yep.
And it basically says,
because
I'm going to kill your whole family. Y'all suck.
Yeah, it says if you don't move out of Florida,
Or else you won't die. This is no joke.
And they have the letter, and it looks creepy as hell because it's written all caps on like a typewriter and stuff.
But at this point, I'm still thinking it's Pie. He just purposely spelled his own name wrong to make it seem like it wasn't him.
Same. Exactly. Because have we ever talked about a case where there was a warning sent like this where it was not a fake out?
Emails with penis photos on them.
This is what cemented me thinking it was the husband when I first watched it.
Mm-hmm.
I thought for sure, nobody sends these kind of warnings out. It doesn't happen.
Yeah.
So now they're getting some more info from the Carrs, and we come to find out that they've had a few run-ins with the next door neighbors, who it's Diana and George. Diana's name is Diana Carr, which is so weird and confusing.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Not related.
The Carr's only neighbor was Dr. Diana Carr, no relation to Peggy Carr, and her husband, George Trepel.
Not related, which they mentioned in everything I read about this case, in parentheses after Diana Carr, it said no relation. I was like, but this is the funny stuff about real life, where I'm like, come on.
Totally.
Come on. And her husband's name was George Trepel.
Yes. And Kurt...
Tell us about some of these Yeah, what's up?
Kurt, these neighbors are dickheads. They keep yelling at the kids for being too loud because they're running around the yard, yelling, screaming. I mean, they're children. That's what kids do.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. The only disagreements that the Carr family can remember is like, well, they've been pissed a few times because our radio is too loud. And at one time it culminated in Peggy and Diana like swearing at each other.
Mm-hmm. But Peggy just walked away. She just put her hands up and she didn't want it to escalate. She was like, all right, whatever.
My mom had enough of this lady, yelling at her, screaming at her, cussing at her, so she turned around and walked off, said, I'm done talking with you.
Yeah, and even hearing this, I don't know if the FBI is involved yet. The detectives are going, okay, but that's not a reason to kill somebody.
Mm-mm.
It can't be.
It
cannot be a reason to kill a whole family.
Until they find out what George and Diane do for a living. Wouldn't you know
That's true.
that she is
What's that?
a chemist?
Yep.
And he's like a poisons expert and a writer.
Yeah, and they look into George's past. Boy, what's on his rap sheet, Kate? What'd he get up to about a decade earlier in North Carolina?
Oh, I don't remember.
He was arrested and did time for running a meth lab.
Right. He's a Walter White. He's a
freaking Walter White.
He's a chemist, but the illegal kind. So that's not his official job title the way it is Diana's. So he can cook meth and change the composition of things.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah. I mean, when they found that out, they must have been stoned.
A background check revealed that Treeple had been arrested in North Carolina in the mid-70s for running one of the largest methamphetamine labs in the eastern United States.
But still, they're going, why would he kill them? All the interactions were with his wife, not him. So why would this George Treeple guy do this to the Carr family? Now, I got some extra info about this arrest, okay? Number one, they mention it in the FF, but even the detective at the time said this is the smartest chemist I've ever met.
Mm-hmm.
The drug agent who arrested Treeple called him the smartest chemist he had ever known.
Pretty much at every bit along the road of this story, they're kind of impressed with George Treeple.
And it's not like Arthur Knight being a tech whiz when he just has a VPN. This is the real deal.
He says, let me tell you, this kid is so good.
This guy knows his
Yeah.
He's also a writer, and he writes these, I guess it's like scripts for parties.
Oh, boy.
A Mensa Murder Mystery Weekend.
Okay, wait, before we get to that, that's a great thing. Say that again, but let me just say this one thing. Extra info from the book. While he was in jail for like 2 years, he lost his because everybody's radios were too loud.
Oh my God.
And he wrote a letter to like the governor or whatever that cited the rules of the handbook of the prison where it's like radio must not be loud enough to hear in the next cell. And he's going, why don't you follow the own rules that you write? And he wrote like this serious letter yelling at him. So, I mean, this guy's got a problem with noise pollution. Big time.
Maybe he has really sensitive ears. Maybe something happened in the meth lab that destroyed his eardrums or something.
But I've noticed in the few times where they talked about it in the book, his response was, I don't like that kind of music. So it was also part of his like personal preference.
Oh, I bet that's what it was.
He's like, I don't like this music.
Yeah, he probably likes either classic rock
Classical?
or jazz. Oh, classical, maybe. So he doesn't... Yeah. I don't know, though. He's like a hippie. He's probably into, like... I have to think he doesn't... he doesn't like rap. He doesn't like anything modern.
Certainly not. No, and I'll bet the boys next door were listening to hair metal. 88, they're pumping Guns N' Roses.
Yeah, and they're rednecks? Sure.
Yeah. Oh, another thing he said about the neighbors when the cops talked to him initially is, they're not my kind of people. Everybody in that house owns a truck.
Wow.
It's a pretty funny burn, right? It's kind of a funny burn.
It's almost political.
A little. So he had a problem with that.
Like, bro, what are you doing in rural Florida then?
Yeah.
Everybody's got a truck.
Yeah, and you're getting your water from a well. Like, I feel like a truck's going to come in handy around here. I don't know. And also, let's point out, this guy's never had a job. Since he graduated, they tried to find proof of him working anywhere. And he's just been living off the dime of his lovers. For instance, Diane Carr.
No relation.
They've been married now for 9.5 years.
Well,
she's the breadwinner. He just sits at home and does nothing. They couldn't find any, his social security number was never flagged for like taxes. Do you know what I mean? Like,
well, he has had jobs, Kurt. They're just not legal.
What's that?
He's made his own money.
Oh, hey, great point. You know what? That's a great way to look at it, Kate, and you're right. Just because he didn't do a friggin' job that was for the man, he definitely was working. You're right there. Okay, so the cops are still, but they're really thinking it's this guy. And so the detectives go over to talk to him, and this is extra from the book. They knew instantly it was him because of how weird he was. And he said to them, the cops are like, why would anybody want to poison them? And he's like, or they're talking about the letter that was like, move or else. And he goes, well, it sounds like people wanted him to move, and it worked. Because at this point, the Carrs are not staying at home anymore, right? They don't know what's going on there. So he's like kind of admitting to the cops, like, sounds like somebody didn't want them around and told them to leave or he'd kill them. And they did move eventually. So...
But they didn't have enough to arrest him there, so they planned a little sting.
Yeah, a sting that takes a year. I mean, where's your head at, Kateline, when this happens in the ep? Our minds are blown by the Coke in the bottle thing, right? Like, oh, and also how they discover there's thallium in there by using a flame, and it's like if the flame turns green, there's thallium in there. Also pretty cool.
A process called flame atomic absorption spectroscopy. The soda produced a distinctive greenish color to the flame.
We're 2/3 of the way through, and we find out there's a whole sting operation where detective goes undercover for a year.
Yeah.
What were you thinking when that was introduced?
Well, we already knew that this guy sucked.
Yeah.
But when they told us that he was also a writer, I'm like, oh, brother. And He enjoyed coming up with like murder mystery scenarios for big murder mystery parties. And he would write these scripts and character breakdowns for everybody attending the party, and one of them was about poisoning.
Yeah, and that's where... So a female agent goes undercover. Now, she joins the club he's in. This is the second part where I needed to do this with you, Kate, based on a show we just watched. But what's the special club? What do you have to be a member of to do these little stupid dinner parties?
It's a Mensa club. You gotta be a card-carrying member.
Oh, this is the dumbest, dorkiest thing I've ever heard of.
Was the detective actually Mensa, or did she just pretend to be?
No, she pretended to be. And early on...
And that right there just shows you how it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Because anyone can just say they are. Like, there's no proof one way or another. Because it doesn't mean anything.
Now, what did we watch recently on our own? This was off mic watching. But we were just dealing with Mensa in Kings of Tupelo.
We were.
Can you give us just a little refresher of that in there?
The villain of Kings of Tupelo, he was a card-carrying member of Mensa, and he felt like it was his duty to uphold the legacy of Mensa and to protect it at all costs. And when someone else, just as a joke, posted a fake Mensa card on Facebook.
On Facebook.
He lost his mind.
So it's a Photoshop. He lost his mind and then framed this guy like he's trying to kill the president.
The president of the United States.
Yeah. Dude sent anthrax, signed the name of this other guy he didn't like, who happened to be a total weirdo Elvis impersonator. Not weird for the Elvis stuff, weird for the dead body stuff. I mean, look, that's probably its own episode. I'd say go watch Kings of Tupelo.
Paul K. Curtis, member of Mensa. It looked really authentic. 30 seconds later, Dusky emailed me.
I'm giving you 1 day to remove your fraudulent claims from your website. By the way, Kevin, you cannot be both a genius and retarded at the same time.
But I mentioned this, Kate, because remember that this Mensa dude was like, I know what I'll do. I'll write a letter to the president threatening him and then sign someone else's name. Remember that for later, okay?
Okay.
So they have this party, and it's called like Voodoo for Fun and Profit, and it's this whole thing where he and all their Mensa buddies play characters, and there's a death. And there's 5 points in this story where he's mirroring the exact crime that was committed against the Carrs.
George Trepal wrote for the participants. One was a murder by poisoning.
Few voodooists believe that they can be killed by psychic means, but no one doubts that he can be poisoned.
And there's even a part where the preface to the story was George Trepal addressing his fellow Mensonites and going, if a neighbor left you something on your doorstep, the smart person wouldn't touch it because it would no doubt be there to kill them. Like, this is what we're talking about, how parallel it is to what happened.
It's the exact scenario.
And it's a scenario where when he's playing out, he's going, if they were smart like us, you wouldn't touch that. You wouldn't eat food for a week or whatever. So I don't know. He's gloating in it somehow.
And this undercover detective is rolling her eyes. But she's pretending that she's really into him.
Yeah, and they become proper buddies. And we see they've got undercover footage of it. I mean, all this stuff. We see them on special dates at a McDonald's. Not dates, they were just friends. But it's like she had people following them and like recording their every move. Now, she became legit friends with this guy, and you can kind of feel it in the episode, couldn't you? Like that classic thing of you think too much, like you get too far in.
You get too close.
You get too close.
He's very intelligent, maybe a little eccentric. A lot of people would call him odd, but because I spent so much time with him, I got to know him, and I did see a good side of him. I did see a nice personality.
You're in too deep, man.
In too deep. That was so real here because in the book she's talking about how she couldn't separate Susan from Sherry. Sherry was her fake name. Now you're supposed to use your real first name in case you run into somebody you know.
Mm-hmm.
So that was mistake number one. But I gotta tell you this, there were some parts in the book where she would say what she wanted to say in that moment because she's rolling her friggin' eyes at this loser who is such an egomaniac and so clearly loves to smell his own farts and stuff. And it was just, it was some pretty good stuff. This book world, and actually, Kate, look, I'm holding it right here.
Uh-huh.
Do you recognize this from the f***ing FF?
I do.
Straight up. Straight up. Whole heads, you can see that in the pictures that I post.
Good, honey.
Oh, that's why I'm recording the Zoom.
There you go.
Right there. Okay, sorry, I'm getting... Where are we at? Okay, so she goes undercover. And I can tell you from the book, upon the first time she meets him is at this Mensa party where she really gets a good idea of who this George guy is and who his wife is, who's like kind of domineering and stuff. And she learns all this stuff out and is now friends with the guy. But what happens that they kind of fly over this in the FF for good reason. There were 10 months where nothing happened and everybody's like, we got to drop this case. You can't do it. And then the next jaw dropper for me in the episode is when we find out that she moves into his old house.
He and his wife decide that they're going to move and rent out their house. But before they're completely moved out, I guess they have tons of books and stuff, they let her start to move in.
Yeah.
And wouldn't you know, it's just enough time
What's in there?
for her to bring her cop friends over and have a little look around.
Yep.
Now, why he didn't remove all the evidence of thallium before this, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, tell us what they find in there. First, they find some books, and they actually find, I'm not sure the FF mentioned this, but the Pale Horse was in there, which is the Agatha Christie story where thallium is used. And that was actually saved people's lives because people heard about the hair fallout thing. And were like, I read that in an Agatha Christie. And they secretly called this Operation Pale Horse behind the scenes.
Nice.
Just a little extra tidbit. But he's got books on poisoning and stuff. The house is weird. Okay, now, I got a weird-ass detail for you about this house. Okay?
Hit me.
They had like his and her toilets where there was a bathroom on one side of the wall and then a bathroom on the other side of the hallway facing each other, like toilets facing each other. But one of these toilets was a little bit different. That's because it had a seatbelt on it.
What?
Yes. One of the toilets had a seatbelt on it. Talk me through this. What's a seatbelt doing there? You think afraid they're going to fall in?
I can't even imagine if that's like a sex thing. I don't know how that would work. They really liked to, I assume, both sit on the toilet at the same time and look and watch each other pooping.
Lock eyes. Now that's love, Kate. You know, we can mock it, but that sounds like true love to me.
They had a lot in common, these two.
And actually, you say sex stuff. They were hella into BDSM and
that's what
or
the
S&M and
seatbelts
stuff.
were then.
Hella.
Yeah, it's like you're not allowed to get up. You have to, do whatever. I don't know. I'm not kink shaming.
No, it sounds like you're pulling from past events.
I'm just saying, I think we can surmise. You say they're into BDSM and there's a seatbelt on their toilet. There you go.
I don't know. I still need an explanation of, I'm not kink shaming. I'm kink curious. I want to know what it is they're up to that requires a seatbelt on the toilet.
Maybe this is something Google knows.
Off to the goog? Should we go off to the goog?
Off to the goog.
All right, here we go.
Seatbelt on a toilet.
Why would a seatbelt be on a toilet?
What you got?
Stupid AI. A seatbelt would not typically be on a toilet because the primary purpose of a seatbelt is to secure a person in a vehicle.
Shut up.
During a sudden stop or crash, which is not relevant to using a toilet.
Thanks,
Google. Well, that was not a successful off to the goog. I'll tell you that much.
You're not going to look at any other results?
Oh, okay. Back to the goog.
Back to the goog.
Why would a seatbelt be on a toilet? A lot of it's about people being pissed that you can't go to the bathroom when the seatbelt sign is on while you're on a plane. That's what I'm seeing a lot of.
But your current... Oh, I see.
Okay, genuinely, it's all a bunch of people that are real lame about personal rights. Look, what this is called Know Your Rights. If I'm an airline passenger...
Oh, brother, save it.
It's all that crap, okay?
Okay.
That's a mystery for another day. But if any holeheads out there know, K-Mun's just curious. That's all. Like you said, he's kink curious. It's a fun word to say. Okay, where are we at? Oh, so they find the thallium in the garage, and it's just a little bottle. And they send this off for testing, which took months back then. They didn't talk about that in the FF. This could have been a primo opportunity to get a guaranteed spot on Kurt's kick-ass list. But they didn't talk about it. But it took 4 months for the results to come back. And now they finally have their smoking gun, and this is when they finally arrest the guy. Right? Is this where we're at?
Mm-hmm. Because you're not even allowed to be in possession of thallium.
No, you're not. So they arrest him. They have the trial. Now in the book, the female detective, she goes to see him in jail. To be what's up? And she's feeling terrible about it. Old George Treepow didn't even acknowledge it. He was just as nice and weird as normal. But meanwhile, what's up? You see that coming?
I think he probably doesn't have a lot of friends. So he was just stoked to see someone he knew.
She did talk a lot about how he was kind of sad and stuff.
Yeah, he's not making friends in jail. He's yelling at everybody to turn their music down.
Yeah. Oh, excellent segue into an anecdote from the book where one of the Carr sons was arrested for 32 days for reckless driving. He's in the prison with George Treepow.
No way.
Okay? Yes. Now, this is a son they don't talk about in the FF, but he had tried to kill himself by taking 3 bottles of Tylenol and like all the pills in it. Now, why people try with Tylenol? I mean, Tylenol cannot kill you even if you, ever, right? Isn't that the point?
I don't know about that.
Okay. Well, there's that one time when it was in the 80s, a few of them did, which is also a killer FF episode. So put that in the bank for later.
The FBI feared that this case would wind up like the Chicago Tylenol murders just a few years earlier. A case which has never been solved.
But he's in prison, and he's trying to get the guard to bring him over to his cell, and he won't do it. So his fellow inmate suggests that he douches him. Do you know what it means to douche someone in prison parlance, Kateline?
Something in the bathroom.
Well, kinda. You pee in a cup, and then when he walks by, you throw that piss all over his face.
Oh.
And so that's what he did. That's what the son Carr did to George.
Okay.
He douched him.
As long as he got something out of it.
And the book was in excellent detail of what a direct hit it was. Like, she was describing it going through his beard, and I was like, all right, Susan, ease up. Sounds like someone's into piss play.
Was Susan there?
Well, she got the story. I mean, she interviewed these peeps. You're suspicious.
I mean, it's just hearsay.
No. Okay, so he goes to trial, and it's pretty circumstantial, right? Like, they don't have a lot to pin him to this. Like, there's no fingerprints, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's just that there was thallium in his house. Is the best thing they have.
And they know that he didn't like his neighbors, and that he wrote that murder mystery play that was the exact same scenario.
Yeah, and I think they were allowed to talk about his arrest for meth. There was a lot of stuff that was not allowed, but I think they were allowed to talk about his previous arrest because it related to this.
Probably just to prove that he had the ability to do this.
Yeah, he had like the know-how, and he had clearly done it before. Okay, and so he was actually sentenced to death.
George Treepow was found guilty, and he was sentenced to death.
Now, you know this dude's still alive. It's been 30 years. He's still sitting on death row.
But it's Florida.
He tried to do a bunch of... Yeah, why didn't they toast his ass?
I guess he appealed, and while the appeal is in progress, you can't. It just delays it.
Yeah, I mean, the last appeal he had was like 15 years ago or something. So he's still in there, still denying it. Oh, you know what? So we're at the end of the story, and this is when Kurt Money can unleash all the cool stuff he learned about and talk about the book a little more. How you feeling about that?
Go on.
Sweet. So this book was dope as hell, and there was a lot of cool stuff in it. And I found out... Oh, okay. So while the detective is undercover, she's trying to get George to talk about poisoning, but plays it close to the chest. And so she's like, she has another detective, or she has another beat cop pretend to be her husband and be abusive towards her. So they like went over to his house to look at it, and he was mean to her. And so she was trying to appeal to him to be like, how can I get rid of my husband who I'm divorcing? Like, she's wanting him to go, well, you can slide some thallium in his coke and he'll go down. Now, he never talked about thallium, but he did offer some suggestions.
Okay.
Because she was trying to insinuate, like, how do I just make this end? How do we make him not a problem for me anymore? And one of his suggestions was you find someone of importance or high in office, write a threatening letter to them, and then sign someone else's name.
Like the Kings of Tupelo.
Exactly. Like the guy in Kings of Tupelo.
Wow.
So, I mean, this must be either another thing these nerds read in an Agatha Christie book, or something in the Mensa handbook talks about this as a way to get people. Both these Mensa dudes, this is like how you can really get somebody. I don't know. I was cracking up when I read that.
That's a pretty good coincidence.
Yeah.
Did you have a feud with Kevin Curtis?
I was very upset with him for posting a fake Mensa certificate on a website. He is not a Mensa member.
Also, so when Peggy Carr's in the hospital, I mean, it's really sad. She could barely communicate, and towards the end there, she couldn't at all. But they did communicate because both of Peggy's parents are deaf, so she knows sign language.
Oh, nice.
And who does that remind you of, Kateline? Think back to previous All-Stars of previous seasons. Who used sign language to communicate with their piece of shit daughters? Does that give it away? Oops.
Oh.
I can't use the clip anymore, damn it.
Why can't you use the clip?
Yeah.
Oh, because it got flagged.
No. The moratorium. Remember my gift to Nancy Shore was that I wouldn't use it? Well, I'll have to refer back to the Lesties to see what I promise.
I am going to retire from saying the daughters' names by name moving forward.
But friggin' Nancy Shore communicated with it, remember?
No.
Oh, you don't? Okay. Well, she did.
So she's over there like doing stuff with like the bottom of her hand, and I'm like, okay, she's spelling something. Crap, Brianna, what is that letter again?
Yeah.
And she beat her hand on the pillow to be like, no. And we're like, okay, put our spelling caps on.
I don't remember that at all.
I'm sorry, what?
But she's your girl, and I know you're proud of her no matter what she does.
Because I'd been shot in the head.
Okay, well, yeah, so that was kind of cool. Okay, I already talked about how FF flubbed. They had a six-pack. You remember in the Chameleon app, I was so excited because when they built the box, they built it according to the right specifications.
Mm-hmm.
So, another shout out for FF because in their recreations, you can bet they follow those dimensions proper. Okay, 4 foot by 2 foot by 18 inches.
This could have been an easy thing. I don't know why they used a six-pack.
Do they make 8-packs anymore?
Good cue. I don't think they do anymore.
Well, maybe not now, but this was like 20 years ago, the Forensic Files episode.
So, okay, now we get to that point. This episode aired October 30th of 1997, or November 30th. Oh. It's if you want to choose like some fandom wiki site or Google, but it aired in the later end of 97. And I know from reading the book written by the guy who created Forensic Files.
Okay.
Well, as I'm pointing at it, is dope. That it took 5 months to complete an episode of FF. So that means they're making this early 97.
Mm-hmm.
July of 95, there's a case in China where they give the girl Prussian blue and she survives. That's 2 years before this episode.
So they should have said, at the time, there was no known cure.
Which would have been fine. Like, and you agree that the way that they word it, it's not like they're hiding that information. They genuinely did not know that.
Yeah.
There is no known cure or antidote.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, is this, we're spoiled by the internet? Like, news in China, who knows how long it takes to make it over here.
That's true.
Back in 95.
That's true. I don't know who their researchers were at the time. A lot of times researchers are like interns. They're like teenagers. So, I don't know.
Yeah, I am curious though, because they're so adamant about how there's no cure or antidote, and it's like there totally is. But I'm dying to know when we first discovered that.
And you would think that because they were interviewing people who were involved with this case, that those people might have known that there was a cure.
Yeah, so if Peggy Carr was poisoned in 88, the case in China was in 95. That means that somewhere in those 7 years, Prussian blue was discovered to be a cure for thallium poisoning.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yep.
But when and where did that happen?
We'll get to the bottom of it.
Because you're right. It's never even hinted at in the book or anything, like when we're talking to all these experts. Oh, because you know what? They friggin' get the FBI's help. I mean, they're so baffled by this and how to catch or find out who did it is they go to the FBI and have them do a profile thing.
They do a profile and it's not accurate.
No, it is. It totally is.
Really?
Yeah. Why is it not accurate to you?
Did they say that he would be like a regular guy who's married? Didn't they make him out to be like a loner type?
No. Again, it sounds like stuff you could put together because it's somebody who poisons, but they're like, it's going to be somebody who's highly intelligent and doesn't like to deal with conflict, watches violent movies.
Told the FBI that the killer was very smart, very organized, and would be very difficult to catch.
It was something about him being like a cuck to his wife, and he really fit that mold.
Well, maybe that's what the seatbelt is for.
What, like, quote unquote, like mommy is like, go to the training toilet.
Yeah. Uh-huh. She buckles him in, and he can't get up until she lets him out.
Now, this was not mentioned in the FF, and I do not know why. Because guess what they found in George Treepow's house when they finally arrest him and bust his ass? They go in there and investigate. Guess what they found in the basement?
Besides the thallium?
Yeah, that was in the garage.
Oh, okay.
What was in the basement?
A Bowflex.
Because why would Xi Jinping want to flood my basement and rust my Bowflex? To what end? To what end?
No, it's not a Bowflex. It is, however, some sort of sexual device. And, oh, it's hidden in a secret room that was hidden behind a wall separated by 6 inches of cement. There was literally a secret torture room that he was building, and inside this room was some sort of L-shaped device that would pin someone down.
Yeah, but that was for his wife, right? That was their whole thing.
No. They suspect that it may have been intended for the FBI lady.
Oh, wow.
because it was almost done. And he had also cemented shut the window. Like, it had a basement window because it was like built on a hill or whatever. And he had cemented that shut, hidden behind a corkboard, and the wife didn't know anything about it. And she would have said so because she was really mad and swearing up and down at everybody when they interviewed her, when they were trying to figure out what her involvement was. I mean, she was pissed as hell. And she was like, I didn't know about a room or anything.
So she did not get arrested.
No, she didn't do anything. Now, it sounds like she could have because she's like Miss Chemistry, but like, there's no proof of it.
She's the one who got into the argument, though, with the neighbors. This could have all been her idea.
That's true. Now, I have some other things where they butted heads with the neighbors that was related to George. He would also come over about the noise. This would happen a lot, apparently. Because if he doesn't like the music you're listening to, apparently George has a big problem with it.
Mm-hmm.
So that happened other times as well. But there's this weird thing where Carr was trying to sell him a truck or sell him his garage, and George was annoyed by it. Now, here's what else. George loved cats. And they had cats in that house. And now Pye used to have a dog. A healthy, strapping young dog. That mysteriously died a few months before this poisoning. That would attack George's cats. So what do you think happened to that dog, Kate?
The dog was poisoned.
Poisoned by thallium, a practice run. Now the detectives were pissed off at Pye. Like, why would you not bring that up? They had to dig out the fact that there was a threatening letter sent. And then he was like, oh, I forgot. I didn't think it would really matter. That your dog was probably poisoned 4 months ago? So it mattered so much, they tried to dig it up. And he couldn't remember where he buried the dog.
Dude.
So Carr is like beyond dumb.
Pye sucks.
Pye sucks. His name's a little weird. P-Y-E is how he spells it. The note spelled it P-I-E.
Huh.
Am I forgetting anything about the FF?
I've met people named Pye, and it was P-I.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Named after the number and stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Sweet. This guy's real name was something else. I don't know how to say it. But it was like Paraglaphiles or something.
Oh, Greek.
And this was... perhaps.
He did look Greek.
Okay. I'm just going to tell you some other stuff in here, okay? His and her toilets with a seatbelt. We talked about that. That's a boom. Okay, well, that was save when we talk about lists. Boy, did I get all these in there. Oh, when they were trying to get inside of his house, his house was for sale. And so Susan was like, well, should we buy it? And they're like, no, that'll take too long. And so that's when Susan had the brilliant idea, hey, what if I just ask if I can rent it? And George was like, it's always unlocked. Just come on in. Doesn't matter. And she was like, no. And he's like, you don't even have to pay rent. Don't worry about it. And she insisted on paying rent and getting a key because she knew that she would need that to prove that it was a legal search and seizure on their part. Like, she wanted to make sure that when she invited all her FBI buddies over, that they could still use it in court. So she was like, no, I'm going to pay rent. I'm going to pay rent to you. That's kind of wild, right?
Smart.
When he built the meth lab in the 70s, he built it at his parents' house because his dad was a cop. And he said no one would ever think to search a cop's house. How about that?
The balls on this guy.
The balls on this guy.
Mensa.
Boo, Mensa. Is there... I've made my thoughts clear on what I think of Mensa. Are there good people in Mensa? Or people I want to hang out with?
There are.
Oh, right, because you know some.
One of my very best friends.
Crazy.
She's a card-carrying member.
Did you ever ask her, like, what's up with this? Where were you when you realized that you're too smart to talk to normies? Because that's what it seems to be the start of it, is that you can't connect to regular society, so you've got to go hang out with these other smarties.
No, she's cool. She can talk to anybody.
So why'd she join?
I don't know. I think she joined when she was a teenager.
Damn. She got in there as a teen. There's a great Columbo about Mensa, and there's a teen in there as well. And she busts the whole thing up.
This Sigma Society, sir. I understand it's some kind of club. But here I've been talking with the most intelligent people in the world, and I never even noticed.
But we had been recording so long, Caitlin was like, I don't give a
Yeah, we need to do our lists.
Oh, we haven't done our list yet.
We need to do our lists.
Hang on. Okay, and I think it's time for those lists.
Kate's unnamed list. We got ourselves a Florida connection.
Hell yeah.
And this is like Central Florida, dead center.
Now, how did you know it was Florida? I'm curious. When did you realize in the episode that it was Florida?
I think immediately.
No, because when I was looking at the
letter,
the transcript of the episode, guess what? That's the only time Florida is ever said in the episode. Is when they're reading what the letter said, where it says "Get out of Florida."
Oh, I thought. Well, also the envelope. You see their address on it. No, they had to mention it earlier because they They showed the county name a bunch, and it was like Barstow County.
I'm telling you, at least the script for this episode, because I searched the transcript, Florida appears one time, and it's in that letter. Because my plan was, I was preparing a roast if you didn't know it was Florida.
You and all your so-called family have 2 weeks to move out of Florida forever.
But then I genuinely found it once, and I was like, well, if she doesn't know, I don't blame her. Because I know it because I read the friggin' book.
Well, I looked up...
But anyway, you caught it.
I looked up Barstow County, too. That's how I knew where in Florida it was.
Ah, nice.
But also, you know, the foliage.
All right, so is that it for your list?
That's it for me.
You almost had one at the end, didn't you? I mean, let's talk about this end. I love the end of an FF because they go out on a great last line and then boom! Credits and the song kicks in. Now, they stopped doing that season 11, and that really bums me out because this hits hard. Because they'll go out on a funny line or a great like slam where somebody is like dissing the criminal, but they end on Sissy, the daughter, and there is perhaps, a long ass pause. Do you remember this part?
No.
Okay, well, it's at the end of the episode, and she's near tears, and she pauses, so she's halfway there to make your list, but she doesn't cry or say sorry.
My dad wasn't always there. She always does.
It's a wildly long silence for the end of the episode. Anyway, that almost made your list, is what I'm saying.
Too little, too late.
Fair. And speaking of too little, too late, Kurt's kick-ass list. Kurt's kick-ass list.
Kick-ass list. Kick-ass list.
Nothing.
Goose egg.
I got nothing. What?
Yeah.
You
got nothing. It's all right.
Let me make sure.
It's interesting to have nothing, but still love the episode so much.
It's true. Yeah. I mean, there were points where it could have happened, but it friggin' did not. Do they? Oh, wait. Okay. They talk about one of the movies that he had was Ilsa, She-Wolf of the SS, which is like a Nazi exploitation film from the 70s. They talk about it like it's a sick, disgusting porn in the book.
I see no manhood between your legs.
Size is not everything, Commandant.
So if we were including the book, that would have made my list. But I can't. It wasn't in the FF.
Doesn't count.
And also, that movie's not...
It's not a movie.
Yeah, it is. Have you seen it?
Like a real studio movie?
There was a whole genre of Nazi exploitation movies like this that happened, Kate. I feel like there's a whole grindhouse world of movies that you're not familiar
Grindhouse movies aren't real movies.
Okay, that's for another episode, but that's not true at all. Well, it has to be a big studio flick for Kateline to acknowledge it as a movie?
It has to have like a real production company behind it, yeah. Because otherwise, it's just anyone can make a movie.
All right, well, so does Roger Corman make movies or no?
Depends who you ask.
Oh! We gotta wrap this up. Kurt's getting steamed! His gears are grinding over here!
Roger Corman movies are so boring. But they're at least released under real studios.
They're not boring. Have you ever seen Piranha? Joe Dante spoof.
Like the Sci-Fi Channel movie?
No. It came out in 1978.
No.
After Jaws, there's a whole genre of movies that are like Jaws, but not. It was like a quick buck. And so he made one called Piranha, directed by Joe Dante. You never heard of it? This is nothing? All right, well, it's good, and it's not boring.
Joe Dante's your boy, though.
Yeah. Maybe that's why I'm sitting here going, Kate, that's a real movie.
We don't come across stories like yours every day.
Ron, you're a warm water fish. This is hardly the Amazon.
But I told you, these are mutations. They've already killed 5 people that I know of.
Science fiction.
So this was a fun time. And we're back. This was also not only a great case, but we revealed something absolutely insane about Kateline, and that's that she prefers flat soda.
I do. Because then it's just the sugary syrup, but it's still cold. It's, it's refrigerated. It's not like it's been sitting out.
Right.
It's just the bubbles sometimes irritate my tummy.
That is so funny because I'm still not drinking energy drinks. And to fill that void, I've been doing like 0 sugar sweet tea or diet soda. And I've been doing a lot of diet soda recently because I miss the bubbles, Kate. I live for the sound and the psss and like the swallowing of the bubbles. That's part of my addiction.
We gotta get you on some seltzer water then. Some LaCroix.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I absolutely love LaCroix. So that was easy when I could get it shipped to my door. I'm not buying LaCroix a lot these days because I don't want to have to carry that away from my car inside. What do you think?
Kurt, come on.
What's that? You think I'm lazy?
Carry it inside. It's not a big deal.
I know, but you know, it's
You're
hard to,
so strong. You can handle it.
You know what? Say no more, Kate. You're right. All right, that's a boom. Lot of fun with Mensa in this one.
We
right?
love Mensa here.
We do, and I feel like had it not been for the Mensa part of it, I feel like that Kings of Tupelo doc would have been wiped from my mind at this point.
Yeah, that's the one standout. The Facebook post of the fake Mensa certificate.
Yeah. Yeah, and the clips we use in here, we can't be repeated, but because he says the R word. But I absolutely, because we had just watched it when we did this ep, so it was fresh in our minds, but I was re-listening to this ep going, oh yeah, Kings of Tupelo, I totally forgot about that.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So yeah, not the husband. I mean, that's wild, right?
And
I mean,
his behavior would suggest otherwise. You think it's him.
To the end of the episode. It's not just the beginning where they're like, and he was like, his vibe the whole time was this guy's got to be guilty of something though, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, he is.
It's just not what the show is about. I mean, yeah, he was cheating on his wife, remember? Because she followed him out there to the quarry,
mine.
Not the mine. That was fun. That stuff always makes me laugh. Okay. Oh, you know what I completely forgot about Kateline is the toilet with the seatbelt. I was a yucking over here.
Wild.
And it was facing another toilet across the hallway.
His and hers.
Oh, yeah. His and hers. Oh, I love it. Oh, also in here, I mentioned that FF covered the Chicago Tylenol murders. Now, here's a little peek behind the curtain for you. They didn't cover it. They just literally mentioned it in an episode of Forensic Files. And that's the clip we heard, was Peter Thomas mentioning it. That was one hell of a headache that past Kurt set up for future Kurt, was finding that friggin' soundbite. Okay? It was a pain, because that's not something you can Google. Not even AI is going to find that. Like, which episode is it one murder, but they talk about this other murder? So I had to re-listen to a ton of FFs at double speed in Premiere going, okay, when did it happen? When did it happen?
How many did you have to listen to?
I genuinely don't remember, but I'm telling you it was a lot, and it was probably the most I've had to search for a soundbite that I think I know what it was from, and it wasn't. Like, that was probably the most searching I had to do. And then, since then, Netflix did a whole doc on it.
Yeah.
Like,
and I learned things in that doc that I did not know.
Same.
Like how they never caught the person.
Yeah. Yeah, they never caught him. And the whole fact that it was most likely because the government was working with the companies behind it, because they just didn't want the hassle. Remember? Mm-hmm. Like all the glad handing they were doing about, like, Reagan was like, we're so proud of these CEOs.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah. Ugh. And then the Johnson & Johnson exec getting up there and saying how much he appreciated the government and the police.
Yeah. Yeah. Good point. Who knows? Now, that could be something we cover on a future ILH on the main feed here. So another bonus thing that we're talking about here in regards to the new premise. Mm-hmm. Am I right?
It's fair game.
Although that we will absolutely just do one episode on. Remember, didn't it get thin at the end?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. When I was recommending to you that Amy Bradley doc, I just finished episode 2. And then I watched episode 3 and I was like, okay, I might have jumped the gun on saying the whole thing was dope. Because the episode 3 did a lot of that the last episode stuff does, where it's like how it's related to today and some true crime nerd. And they're like,
it happens.
So, you got anything on this baby?
No.
So not only do we find out the flat soda thing, we heard the absolute sacrilege going on in Kateline's her own personal mind grapes, where she thinks that exploitation films aren't films, and that Roger Corman's boring.
He is.
Do you still hold those thoughts, Kate?
Yeah, 100%. He's boring.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess just like then, I got to wrap it up because I could not agree more. And I'm trying to think what Corman flick we're going to watch.
You could not agree less.
Absolutely. Let me say it again. I could not agree less with you right now. Perfect. Perfect pickup. And on that note, I'm Kurt Money.
I'm Kateline.
I'm Lester Holt.
Bald D's nuts.